This is going to be a quick little video of me just going over the thought process and the meaning behind this piece. So I was just in the yard, just looking around, and found this really big mirror, turned into a canvas. I put in some gesso and sap green mixed with phthalo blue. I decided to bring the canvas indoors because I knew it was going to take a long time and the sun was going to start setting. But yeah, so anyways, I went in with a Loomis head, little guideline, just started like adding different features. I wasn't looking for it to be perfect, like a actual realistic head. I want to have my own little style to it. And so yeah, the proportions aren't like crazy accurate, but you still see what I'm trying to convey, and it's still very legible. Usually when I'm doing freehand heads and stuff like this, I just go in for it. I don't even like think too much, just go for what I think things look like. I did not use a reference for this at all. It just straight off the dome. And right now I'm using a white color pencil to draw in everything because I noticed any other color I was using on this background, it was not showing well enough. So yeah. Then I just started adding in this little character, just having fun, just throwing things in there. Started working on the hand, just like kind of picking at the brain. I did use my hand as a reference. You can see every now and then I look at my own hand to see the anatomy of it. I didn't want it to be perfect. I still wanted it to be a little bit off, like how the head is. Started adding some background, some mountains, a moon, and cactuses to bring it all in. Yeah, this was the finished sketch so far. Things were still bound to change. I had my color wheel just to help me with certain colors that I might throw in there. Yeah, so after that I just started going in. This was on live, YouTube live, and these lives are still posted. If you guys want to watch those lives, just sit back and watch them. I did have to create my own shadows and look at the moon that I drew to see how those shadows play a part within his head. So obviously in the back side, it's going to be more darker, and it's going to fade into a much lighter side when it gets to the right side, I believe. It is kind of backwards because I'm left-handed, but on the screen it looks like I'm doing it with my right hand. I do switch hands every now and then, but primarily I'm left-handed. So yeah, I started going in with, I think, first it was burnt umber. Then I was transitioning it to raw sienna, and I think at this point I was just showing some of my artwork to someone who was I was chatting with on live. I think a lot of times when people try to create something that they are seeing in their head, they think too deeply about it and it doesn't come out the way they want it or anything like that. If you have the idea, just put it down and just work from there. Like people think that like they overcomplicate it, and you never know what you can do until you just do it. So a lot of my artwork I didn't even know I can do until I just attempted it, obviously with my best effort putting forward. But yeah, just go for it, man. You never know what you can do until you do it. That being said, this is like my biggest piece I ever did. Like it's a really big canvas for me. So a lot of paint was being used, and a lot of time this took over a week. Obviously I was working on other projects too, but like, yeah, I never took this long to do a piece, and it actually helped out, from a artistic standpoint, learning how to like checkpoints and stuff throughout your art process. It was to the point where every time I came back, I found new things. Every day I came back, I found new things to work on. Like I came back with a fresh eye, because I'll get burnt out, and want to take a break. But then you come back and you just see different things. You're like, oh, okay, I can come back and fix this. I can make that a little bit more cohesive. I could blend this better. That was really the whole process throughout the week, and find different things that I can add on to it, different elements. As you can see, I even switched up the tongue. It was a little bit more like slivery, like a little snake, but now I just made it a little bit more wavy because I just felt like it was too much going on when it was like that. Wanted to give something where the eyes can truly follow, the composition of it. So yeah, so now I'm gonna get into the meaning of this piece while I'm just doing little touch-ups on the face. So when I started it, obviously I didn't have the meaning in mind. A lot of pieces that's like free, that's like off the dome and things like that, that when you're just truly creating, I don't think you have a meaning behind them until the artwork is truly finished and you look at it. You step back and you look at it and then you see like, okay, this is what this means. You find your meaning to it. And that's kind of where I was, you know. I did post a sketch on TikTok and I had someone comment their own meaning of it, and it really resonated with me. I liked it, you know. And so a part of that I did take into this meaning collectively. I believe this whole piece has a lot to do with intrusive thoughts and how we act those things out. And with the night scene and the moon and all that, there's a saying, I think it's like the sun watches us or something, but the moon knows all our secrets and things like that, because let's admit it, at night things happen, you know, things happen at night, sinners and all that stuff come out at night, just like things like that. So this is just along those lines of a person just acting out their intrusive thoughts, truly picking their brain and pin those things into reality. You know, it's one thing when it's in your head and you don't bother it, you know, but then it's a whole nother thing when just like your reality becomes that, you know. So have this guy, he has like these sharp teeth, just like, but he has a tear, and it's like this like sadness part of it, like regret that I'm like living in this state of intrusive thoughts and living them out, but like almost like you can't help it, you know. And that's kind of what I got from it when I finished this whole piece. And it's like this, he's in the desert, you got these like weird creatures everywhere that don't exist in reality, like you're somewhere else, you know, like a different realm, not a preferred realm either. So when I was doing the background, subconsciously I feel like I started painting my most recent trip to Arizona. Actually, a lot of times I passed through Arizona, but I never actually got to stay there and like truly experience it. But more recently I took like a really long road trip to Colorado, Utah, and Arizona. And man, the scenery was just, it was beautiful. And I feel like I somehow incorporated that. And on this part, I'm just drawing up a creature. I was just chilling in the car, just started sketching up some stuff. Decided to just drop this creature, and I was like, you know what, this would be really cool to add to the piece I'm working on. Started working on the sky, just did like a little transition of colors. You know, I noticed one thing about me is like I'm not afraid to experiment with these colors that's like probably like completely complementary, like completely opposite, and that may not be cohesive with the artwork itself, but somehow finding a way to make them work together. I mean, they're complementary colors for a reason. Not necessarily the ones you see in the sky, but just like using very opposite colors. Started adding a little more details to the little creature. As you can see, overall, just started adding like a lot of details. The head has water in there, and that's symbolism for something too. The tongue, the gradients in the tongue, the cactuses. The cactus was a really fun part because I already had an idea in mind of how I wanted it to look like. I was like, you know what, I want to add yellow ochre because it's going to really stand out. It's like that little complementary thing again, you know. Yellow ochre, I added that for the spikes. You know, those little tiny dots, they really did a lot, you know. Probably can't really tell from this angle, but they really did stand out a lot using yellow ochre as spikes instead of white. Or sometimes I may use yellow ochre and I mix it with white, but not fully mix it in. Started adding a little bit more details. Strands of hair. You can see the glow on the mountains from the moon. Same with on the cactuses, the gradient. Yeah, I just started finishing up. I was really getting excited. I have his foot, a random foot. It's his foot, but just like randomly coming out on the side of it. Had this creature with a tear coming out his eye. That's my signature. Yeah, this is the whole piece. You know, little detail clips. The water, the tear, the cave of his mouth, the tongue with the white splatters. And this is the piece cohesively all together. Yeah, even for the mountains, I used a texture-based paint just to bring texture for that. Yeah, this is Pick My Brain in Arizona. I hope you guys love it. And thanks for watching.